Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony G, and we are about to get started today. We're going to be talking about ICE detentions, right? ICE detention or detentions reached 68,000 in February. So we're going to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. This is a wonderful thing here. How this administration, which is the Trump MAGA administration, and what they're doing, right? So therefore, these numbers are going up even higher, since, in February 2026. So therefore, the Dems, ladies and gentlemen, are really mad. But let's go give a shout out to President Trump and what he's been doing. So President Trump, you've been doing your thing, mobilizing, organizing. You got Tom Homan out there in Minnesota cleaning things up. The arrest is still going on. We're talking about illegal aliens, ladies and gentlemen, not citizens, illegal aliens. And no matter how bad that the Dem libtarbs tried to spin it, it is what it is. These are illegals that are being rounded up, and they're being sent back to their country of origin. Boy, you just got to love that. Their country of origin, ladies and gentlemen. So this is what I like. I like the fact of what Trump is doing and things. And, so we're starting to see that the MAGA patriots are making, major headway. Now, we're going to talk about what Kash Patel has to talk about very soon, but we just wanted to talk about with these ICE and so forth, the ICE detentions centers, boy, they really doing their thing, though, too, So just going down further here, what else is going on here? So we're just talking about the ICE detention center, 68,000 arrests. Now, the U.S. courts have ruled 4,400 times that ICE jail people illegally, and it has to stop. This is what they're saying, which is a bunch of crock. It says hundreds of judges around the United States, right, have ruled more than 4,400 times since October that U.S. President Trump's administration is detaining immigrants unlawfully. This is what they're saying. This is a bunch of crap. And this has been reported by Reuters. I don't read Reuters, but I just got to give you the source of where some of this nonsense is coming from, right? So I don't deal with Reuters, However, they're still painting this narrative that these are innocent immigrants and that they're all legal, right? These are citizens. It just never ceases to amaze me because, real people know what's going on. And the thing that I really don't like that I'm even a little bit insulted, right? I'm insulted the fact that they were saying how black people don't know how to go to the DMV, right, to get identification, right? Either a state ID, you may as well say a driver's license, And this is coming from the left, right? The progressive Dems, the ones that claim to love black people in these, dilapidated neighborhoods, right? Blight, crime, violence, right? In their district, right? The same people on the left that claims that they love us so much, right? You look and see what's going on. It's riddled with crime and violence, bars on the windows and stuff, dilapidated neighborhoods, underserved communities, right? As well as defranchised. But these are the people on the left that claim to love black people so much, right? So they're saying that we don't have enough sense. And just to let you black folks know, you guys got to be insulted about this type of nonsense, right? This is something that's very, very insulting because it's not only insult our intelligence, but they look at us as a bunch of animals, right? Uncouth, right? Ignorant, right? And they just view the black community in general like this, right? So-called black community. But they view it this way. They paint this with a big, big wide brush. You know, we're less educated and so forth. They can't get a driver's license or a state ID. All this nonsense, right? It's saying that it's racist. And these are coming from white liberals that are telling us that we should be upset because it stifles our constitutional rights. They make this crap up. How ID is voter suppression, which is not, right? Every black person that I know that has an ID, because if you don't have an ID and get pulled over by the police, that's going to be an issue, right? I always keep identification on me. What are they talking about, right? But they trying to tell us, the same group, because we, like you said before, you look at the districts that they represent, these blue cities, right? Like Detroit is no different, right? Cleveland is no different. Indianapolis and so forth ain't no different. Chicago, no different. We keep naming them, right? Look at the Dems district of the people that they serve, right? And like I said, it's an underserved community. Disenfranchisement, right? Blight, crime, and drugs. And this has been going on for well over 60 to 70 years, since a lot of blacks have been voting Democrat in a major push since 1964. This is the major thing. And then they're trying to tell us on the left that, oh, if you say that, require voter ID and all this other kind of stuff, I'm saying it's racist, but they don't even know, man. And Trump already had a big win, right? When we're talking about, now it's got to go through the Senate, right? But we know that it's going to pass. I'm talking about the SAFE Act, right? It's going to pass, ladies and gentlemen, and it's nothing that the left can do about it. You just may as well just get ready because it's coming. We're talking about the SAFE Act. The SAFE Act, right? That's exactly what we're talking about, the SAFE Act. So we're talking about, well, what are we talking about in the SAFE Act, right? We're talking about proof of what we call U.S. citizenship for voters. And I apologize, guys, with my camera today. I got so much sunlight. I got so much sunlight. I got a south-facing window. The sun is beaming down and it's messing up my green screen. So therefore, I've just got this avatar up right now. But you guys, you know what I look like, man, But I wanted to look right. I gotta look Hollywood. If I ain't looking Hollywood, man, you know what I'm saying? I got to look Hollywood. But at any event, so we're talking about the proof of U.S. citizenship for voter registration, right? Requires individuals to provide documentation or a proof of citizenship, which could be a passport, birth certificate, or contain real ID, right? These are the things that we all agree with. When we go out here and drive a car, right? I got to have a driver's license. And then they know this stuff, but we already know. We're going to get to that point as to why again, right? Photo ID requirement, right? Right? So this is another thing. Mandate voters to show proof or show an ID, identification, to cast a vote or ballot in person. This is the thing, because we're not doing that mail-in stuff. We've seen what happened in 2020, 2024. I mean, we've seen what happened, right? So this is the thing that make the people on the left angry and frustrated. I'm talking about the ones that are in power, right? The so-called elites, you know what I'm saying? So we're talking about that, right? Restrictions on restriction methods, right? Effectively ends or limits, right? Mailed-in voter registration online, right? Without proof. And the voter registration drives in many cases, right? This is what we're talking about, right? That is going to be gone. We're not going to be dealing with that. Right? Not like how they were doing. We're not going to deal with that. Voter roll, right? You know what I'm saying? So the voter rolls, remember me mentioning this many of times, directs states to remove non-citizens from the voter rolls and establish processes for verification. It's getting a lot tighter now. It's these cheating mechanisms that was going on in the past, 2024, 2022, 2020. This thing's not happening no more, ladies and gentlemen. As that boa constrictor from Trump is steady tightening down, right? It's going to be very, very difficult to cheat, right? And this is exactly why this is why the SAFE Act has to be passed. And it's going to go through the Senate because Thune, Buffoon, and all the rest, man, they've been blowing Thune. They've been blowing his stuff up on it. We all been calling, you know. It's going to voicemail now. He even got so many calls, right? Mitch McConnell stands against it. And we're talking about these rhinos, right? Republicans in name only. There's a few others, right? They don't, and all they are is cosplaying. They're not real Republicans. They've always been progressives, right? They just masquerade as being Republicans. This is why we always said outside of Trump, the Republicans wasn't never getting no leeway because they played on the same side like WWE, right? That's why I didn't vote in the past, man. Why? You going to vote for what? Both sides, you're going to get hell, right? You know what I'm saying? And there's exceptions and alternatives, right? Allowing some alternative evidence in cases and so forth, right? We're talking about this burdensome situation that the left created, right? They created all this stuff. So therefore, they can solidify their future when it come down to them taking the elections. Because we all know they cheat. They cheated every year. We can go back. They cheat, right? That's all they know how to do is cheat. So therefore, the House passed, right, this saved, right, American Act version on February the 11th, 2026 by a narrow 218 to 213 vote, mostly along party lines, right? It has to be sent to Senate where it faces a challenge or challenges, right? Likely need 60 votes, right? But overcoming a filibuster unless the rule changes. We'll see. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. We will see in regards to that. But I feel very, very good about it, you know, because, you know, with Thune and all the rest of them, the buffoons in Thune, you know, I got a nickname for everybody, right? But at any event, we already know, right? Because they're on the verge, they're going to get primaried anyway because they done already showed their real colors. They do not stand for the United States of America at all. They really don't. These people right here, ladies and gentlemen, these are enemies of America. Straightforward, straight like that. These are enemies. They always have been, right? And we've seen it more so than ever now, right? So as I said, it go down here, you know. So what I love about with the Trump administration, right, and the policies, we're talking about, thank you for the light, we're talking about common sense, right? Common sense policies, right? Only citizens vote. No mail-in ballots, except for limited cases, like if you're in the military or disabled. Those should be the only cases, right, where that is considered. Because, you know, we can't have our people that are disabled. But you still got senior citizens. Shout out to the senior citizens. They still have their IDs, and they still make a way to go out there and vote. You ain't going to tell a senior that they ain't voting, man. That's what I'm talking about. Voter, what we call it, a person that's determined to vote, right? So, yeah. So, and I appreciate the likes, too. Thank you, guys, you know. You guys have been really, really great. I know I'm going to start get back posting, man. I've been so busy. I was saying, let me do this real quick on this St. Valentine's Day before I get back out there. Shout out to you guys, though, man. You guys make the channel rock, especially on the MAGA side, man. You guys have been rocking with me, listening to me, man, listening to my spiel, you know. But you guys have a safe one today. It's Saturday night, the biggest date or marriage and other to going out here, and celebrating Valentine's Day, getting your sweetie something nice, flowers and candy. I know I picked somebody up as an Uber yesterday, man. He was already prepared. Young guy, too. One of those Zennials, man. He had his flowers. Indian dude, too. And we had a nice conversation, We were talking about Trump, and we were talking about, what was it? We were over here talking about the tariffs and stuff, So, yeah, but it was real good. He was a well-enlightened young man, He did agree with a lot of things of what Trump was basically been doing, and setting up. We talked about Moody, how Trump and Moody in India, we have a very good relationship. And we have a great relationship in a lot of these countries now, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't want to steer too far off of that. But talking about that, talking about ICE, right? But I think I'm almost finished here with the SAFE Act and things like that. But you already know that this, with the pushbacks, right? The pushbacks where the Dems are saying, it creates a barrier for millions of eligible citizens, right? So this is one of the things here. Also, what are they saying? Dispute current systems online. They want to keep the mail-in registration drives, right? These are the things, man. It just doesn't make any sense, though, It could defranchise voters without any meaningful security, right? These are the things that they're saying, though, right? I mean, if you look at the black community, we have been defranchised, and that came by the left. And I stand on that with everything I love, you know what I'm saying? Because it's absolutely true. It looked like a hellhole in some of these ghettos, though. Have they ever cared about our, what? No. We can say that, We can absolutely say that. But they care so much, and then they are illegals. But we know why. So let's get to that, and then we'll talk about ICE. But, so we'll go ahead and talk about it. Why not? So here it is. American First Agenda on Security and Sovereignty, right? And I love it, though, because it aligns with the American value, the red, white, and blue, As soon as I get this green screen thing fixed, and that's the reason why I'm not showing myself, because it makes it look stupid. I got to be Hollywood when I do things, It got to be nice and crisp, With that south-facing window, man, that light just, bam, come right in there, messes my whole flow up. I can't be over here looking like a mammy singer, I got to look like Hollywood, But, yeah. I'm just saying. So, so other than that, though, so this is basically what it is, though, ladies and gentlemen, though. We're talking about the America First Agenda, right? And securing our sovereignty. And this is what Trump have always talked about. We talking about every American, black, white, and other. Ain't no black American, no white American. We are all Americans, right? And that's the thing about it. This is what's beautiful about America. When you come through the right pathway of citizenship, you can be somebody. You know what I'm saying? You really can. No matter what background you come from, you come over here in America the right way, and then you will be rewarded. You work hard, work smart, not out here on no type of criminal type stuff. You do it right, you will be rewarded, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what everybody want to come to America. If America is such as a bad place, a racist place, why is all these other ethnic groups coming over here, America, right? You don't come to America to go into the fire, right? You come over here for prosperity, right? You come over here because you done heard all the stories about America, right? The land of the free, the home of the brave. Doesn't it sound good? I love saying it. The greatest country in the world, right? Well, we actually have a working, right, government. We have a beautiful Declaration of Independence, which is the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, right? And the 27 amendments, right? That protects each and every one of us, right? So therefore, we are not being violated. We have due process. Therefore, we're not sitting in a prison until they decide to say, you go see the court. Other countries in the world run like that. You know what I'm saying? Thailand, Singapore, and shout out to those countries. I'm not knocking you, but I'm just saying they ain't no America. You know what I'm saying? Though, yeah, I done seen Breakdown Palace though, man. You know, if you caught with drugs over there, man, have God have mercy on your soul, boy. That ain't where place you don't want to be. You don't want to be messing around over there. But other than that, though, ladies and gentlemen, so yeah, let's go on and talk about ICE and the detentions, man, the detention centers, man. You guys seen the stats that I put up there, right? Look at what's going on, right? 68,000, right? And this has been reported as of February, right? The numbers are steady going up. I wish it was even faster, you know what I'm saying? But the numbers are steady going up, ladies and gentlemen. Our wonderful men, right, and women that put that uniform on to become an ICE agent, they put their life on the line each and every day, right? They don't deserve to be doxxed, right? They should have the most respect, which for the most part of it, most Americans, majority of us, we do respect law enforcement and we respect ICE because they have a mission, right? The mission is to detain and remove out of our country. The remain in Mexico will still stand. They have to be vetted. We do not want we want people over here that's going to, be citizens, not live off of the government, not taking advantage of the social programs. You've seen what happened before, right? And look at it. DHS has sent hundreds of subpoenas to social media firms for data and anonymous ICE critics, NYT, right? This is things that they were doing, right? And Tom Homan, the border czar, man, he's been doing a great job, man, Also want to get those subpoenas. We want to get that thing with the IRS as well. The IRS, because the ICE need to have access to that information as well. So we can know who these people are, because with that information, which the dim leftists really want to block, they don't want that information to come out because we already know the Dems bat for who? They bat for illegal aliens. This is what they do. They bat for them. They don't bat for American people. You already seen what they were doing, right? They were actually taking advantage of the American people, funding, right? Taking the tax money and putting it into all these NGO programs and all these kickbacks, right? And then what do? Enrich themselves, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they were doing in funding these other programs, these dark money and all this other stuff. As we said it many of times, all this, ladies and gentlemen, has been going to who? To keep these illegals over here. But again, DHS has targeted anti-ICE accounts with subpoenas, right, to the tech giants. Woo, woo. Boy, I tell you, boy. Yep. So Kristi Noem, So the U.S. Department of Homeland Security is compelling major technology firms, right? I'm gonna say compelling major technology firms to comply with subpoenas aimed to expose individuals behind anti-ICE social media accounts and move that civil liberty advocates warn threatening fundamental free speech protections. Thank you for the like. I appreciate it. The subpoenas demand that the companies provide names, addresses, and phone numbers, right, linked to accounts critical of immigration and custom enforcement operations. Man, it's about time that we started doing this. But, I'm being patient, man, because, the thing about with justice, they call it the slow wheel of justice, like a big old freight ship. It takes a while to turn that freight ship around, because we've been going off the dirt, the Niagara Falls or a waterfall, and that big ship is trying to turn around massive. Trump is turning that big freight ship, that big, huge ship, he's turning around. But it takes time because once we go back in the other direction, which we are now we're we are like a nuclear vessel, right? Going back to the right direction, you know? So unlike standard warrants, the administrative subpoenas do not require judicial approval. Wow. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. It does not require judicial approval. Before, right, insurances, right, the DHS can authorize and dispatch these demands directly through technology companies without court oversight. A power that civil liberties and advocates argue is being exercised with, let's say, unprecedented aggression, right? So the wish list to the department claims it has broad administrative subpoena authority, right? It has declined to address specific questions about, but I understand what's going on here though, you know, and we need this. Which platforms receive subpoenas? Here it is, because this is the question a lot of you are going to be asking. Who is it? Google, Meta, Reddit, and Discord, right, have reportedly received subpoenas targeting accounts, right, multiple, plural, that post information about ICE activities across the United States. Uh-oh. Boy, you got to be more careful, I tell you. You got to be more careful. Some unnamed companies have chosen to comply with the demand, right, wish list. Others have taken more protective stance by alerting the account holders that they have 10, 14 days to mount legal challenges against the government's request. Oh my God. You got to be more careful, boy. You got to be more careful. Ain't this something? This is another win for Trump and MAGA once again, man. You know, doesn't require no courts, no kind, nothing. They have the full green light to go after our enemies of America. And I've always said that. Anybody that is anti-ICE, you are enemies of America. If you are anti-government, where we've been under criminal government for a long time, and Trump over here making it right and you against that, that makes you a enemy and an enemy combatant. Antifa is an enemy combatant, right? It's going to name them, right? BLM and all the rest of them are enemies to America, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not fool ourselves here. The people are being watched like never before. I love it too, right? DHS lawyers stated in court filings that the subpoenas aim to investigate threats to its own officers, right? Or impeachments to their officers, right? By providing protection for ICE agents conducting field operations, the department has framed the effort as necessary for officer safety, right? Though critics tend this judication is being used to silence legitimate dissent and public accountability efforts. And this is exactly what it is. This is what's going on. So amongst the accounts, the Monaco Community Watch, right, operates both Facebook, Instagram, posting bilingual alerts to ICE sightings in Montgomery County in Pennsylvania. The account serves immigrants communities by providing advance warning to enforcement activities in their neighborhoods, right? We already said Meta. Meta informs the account owners, right, about the subpoenas. This is exactly what it is. The American Civil Liberties Union moved to block the order in federal court, arguing the government is targeting constitutionally protection of speech. See, these are enemies, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, enemies. Just presenting you the truth. And you know where I'm getting this from? Once again, I get this information from Ground News, and it cites its sources. This is what I'm looking at, you know. The federal crackdown on ICE criticism It is happening, ladies and gentlemen. No more are we going to be dealing with alerting ICE agents. No more are we going to be dealing with these anti-government treasonous bastards that run these tech companies, right? No more are we going to be dealing with the great pushback, right? Where these what we call citizens that are out here fighting against ICE, blocking ICE, and so forth. They all got dash cameras now. You know what I'm saying? No longer are we going to be dealing with this type of stuff. If you are doing this, I would highly suggest that you stop. Because as I said before, you are going to be labeled as an enemy combatant. And like I said before, what you're doing is anti-American. Americans, that's why we call it the first Americans, right? Agenda. America first. And the people on the left, you're going to either rock with it or you're going to find yourself in prison, or you could find yourself 6 feet under. I'm just saying, because all that other stuff was unnecessary. I want to live. I obey the law. You know, how the hell you going to have all this pushback for people that don't give a damn about you? You know, I don't see them out in the streets. Of course not. They ain't going to be out in the street because they know they're going to get arrested. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm talking about the illegal immigrants, right? And if you are a legal immigrant listening right now, I'm going to give you like a public service announcement. And this is for all of the illegal immigrants. You want to go ahead and use that app, which is the CPP app. You want to go ahead you want to go ahead and turn yourselves in. Go on and make it easy. They've been paying to get you guys up on out of here. Because if you don't, and ICE catches you, you know, and when they will arrest you, they will detain you, and then they're going to deport you. You can never come back into America, you know. So make it easy on yourself and go ahead and self-deport now while you still can. Trump already got rid of the ankle baby, right? When we talk about the 14th Amendment, you know what I'm saying? That's only being applied to ex-slave babies, you know. That's right, baby. Only for the ex-slave babies only, you know. So if you're not a slave, baby, that don't apply to you, you know. So you got to bounce. Nice try. And the DMs have tricked a lot of people, right, by thinking because you're born in America makes you an American. It does not. It does not. See, to my blacks, if you guys vote with Trump, see, they're going to be trying to deport you too. If you're ignorant to the Constitution and believe that, but I'm not ignorant to the Constitution because we are protected under the 13th Amendment, which means the abolishment of slavery. 14th Amendment, right? When we talk about the birthright citizenship, where blacks, ex-slave babies are protected here, and the 15th Amendment, right? Which allow us to vote. So all this stuff about what the Dems been lying to you about, oh yeah, they're going to be taking your votes, your voter thing away. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. No, we are protected by the 13th, 14th, and the 15th Amendment. Thank you for the like. I appreciate it. Got to give a little education on people that are not informed. I'm not trying to insult nobody, but this is what they have always played on the ignorance. You know, that's exactly what it is. Don't let your hatred for a man blind you from the truth, right? I done had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. He was asking me some questions and things like that because I know he brought up the 1800s, the Civil War, what that was all about, the Reconstruction period and all this other stuff. You had blacks in that 10-year span. You had blacks that were already in the White House. They were already there. They want to make it sound like, and all this happened in the Reconstruction period when you can look it up. The Confederates was nothing more than liberals. They want to still run this myth, this what do you call it, party myth switch. It didn't never happen. This never happened. That's another lie coming from the left, and I got to keep bringing that up. It never happened. It is a myth, right? Because we already know when it come down to slavery, who was the person, who was the benefactors, who engineered that, right? This is all left policies. 1828, the Democratic Party was created. The Jackass Party, right? Because they're a bunch of jackasses. That's about right, too. Big fat ass donkey jackass. That's about right. Because this is who was running the country. And they were running it right into the ground, enriching themselves and then trying to enslave us, man. You know, somebody had to stand up. Trump said, I'm going to stand up. He got grandchildren. He want them to have a future. We want to have a future. You know, look at the Trump thing he got right now for the $1,000 for the new babies born in 2026. Shout out to Donald J. Trump. So you got a baby, or you're about to have a baby in 2026, he's starting them off with $1,000, right? And that's going to be a trust fund, you know, up until they're 18. So I suggest you new parents, man, guys may want to get the crack and they jump on that. He's starting everybody out with $1,000. Supposed to be the races, right? So that means you too, black and others, you know. If you got a baby in America and you legal, guess what? You know, you could starting you off with $1,000. You could just go in and bill for that. Talk about their children education or other, you know. But yeah, that's a beautiful thing though, man. It's a step in the right direction for sure. And I'm sure, what is it, Michael Dale from the Dale Computers, him and his wife have contributed a lot to that fund as well, too. And this is the things that we're seeing. See, we're winning, ladies and gentlemen. MAGA is winning, right? The Dems have tried to destroy this country, destroy this economy, right? And this is what they purposely were doing, right? And like I said before, anybody that stands against making, when we said America first, it's we call these treasonous bastards that they should be arrested. They should be going towards, some of them are going to go towards a military trial for some of them. Not the American citizen, I'm talking about people in higher up positions and stuff like that. They're gonna be facing that very soon, hopefully. But other than that, though, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, just talking about that, the federal crackdown, you know. What else? It's a beautiful thing, you know. Yep. So, yeah, you know, but like I said before, we are winning. We are winning, ladies and gentlemen. The subpoenas are real, right? Look at this. More than 1,000 ICE staff, right? Look at this, that they've been over here. They've been doxing these people, our brilliant men and women that put their life on the line. They have been doxing them, telegraphing where they are and everything. That one guy that, with that Renee Good woman and all that stuff that went down like that, they've been threatening his life. They know where he live at and stuff. He got to be under special protection, internal bleeding and everything from the hit and stuff like that. But we are winning, ladies and gentlemen. We are steady pushing through. We're still persevering, as we should, right? So, yeah, so this is the thing about it. Let's hear from Marco, little Marco. I can't call him little no more. Little Marco, you know. I can't call him little, but let's go into, I'm sorry, not Marco. I'm talking about Kash Patel. You know, we don't need to hear from Marco today, but one day we're going to hear from him. Let's go ahead and hear what Kash Patel has to say.
America's wealthiest neighborhoods. Humidity makes the air thick, oppressive. 58 agents from FBI, ICE, and IRS criminal investigation emerge from unmarked vehicles. They stack at the entrance of a limestone estate worth $14 million. The home belongs to a Somali diplomat with full immunity credentials. A battering ram swings. The door cracks. Alarms shriek inside. 7.3 billion laundered. That's the preliminary estimate from federal prosecutors. Enough money to fund entire municipal budgets. Enough to purchase 73,000 homes at the national median price. All of it flowing through shell corporations registered in Delaware, Wyoming, Nevada. All of it routed through international wire systems designed to evade detection. The operation wasn't run by cartels or street gangs. It was orchestrated by men with diplomatic license plates, men who attended charity galas and mosque fundraisers, men who owned logistics companies with legitimate contracts to transport goods for Amazon, FedEx, UPS. A six-state empire operating behind corporate legitimacy and international immunity. The investigation began 19 months earlier, a single suspicious activity report filed by a Houston bank. A wire transfer for $2.8 million labeled.
You hear all this fraud, ladies and gentlemen? And I love it where these butt-hurt ass, I don't hear from them a whole lot. I used to get a lot more of them. But these butt-hurt ass liberals, they still come in this room, man. Like, look at the one guy here, man. They still come in this room, though. And I don't mind them, but it's just the thing about it. They are butt-hurt. Jack Hammer is butt-hurt, boy. He been in here before. I remember that name before. His ass is butt-hurt, you know. But here it is, Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, right? Here it is, 7.3 billion cartel networks exposed, right? We getting these old traitorous ass bastards on out. We getting them arrested, kicking them out the country as they belong. And we don't give a damn Jack Hammer or anybody else. You know what I'm saying? You ain't the boss of me, right? We have the majority. You have the little minority. You little feminine pussy of a man ass. I'm gonna be kind of cool. I'm gonna be cool. But go ahead. Let me go.
Textile import payment sent to an account in Mogadishu. No corresponding customs records. No shipment manifests. Just money disappearing into East Africa. If you want the full truth about how diplomatic immunity became the shield for America's largest fraud network, hit like so this story reaches more people. The estate raid was just the surface. Behind those limestone walls, federal agents would find a command center coordinating fraud operations that touched every state in America. The network had been invisible for 6 years.
And let's keep it real, ladies, besides ice, baby. This is what it's always been about. It's about fraud. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. Everything else is a distraction, you know? So before you come in the room and want to have a pushback on other issues, I notice you ain't pushbacking on what Kash Patel has to say about all this damn fraud, right? And Ilhan Omar is going to go to prison, right? That's going to happen, right? And a lot of us is waiting for that day, you know? That's why I don't really talk about her a lot. But I'm using her as an example, and there's a lot of others because, what's his name, Tampon Tim, Balls to the Walls, and all the rest of them, you know what I'm saying? Jacob Frey, how do they not know about the corruption in Minnesota alone? And this is like Kash Patel was saying, this is ongoing in other states. This ain't just Minnesota, right? They're finding it, right? Ohio, they are finding it, you know? And I love it because I want to see some arrests like never before. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Jack Hammer, you are butt hurt, boy. Look at you. Looking like a little woman over there, aren't you?
Now it was exposed. The operation had a code name, Iron Wire. For 19 months, investigators had been building a case that would dismantle the infrastructure financing organized crime across 2 continents. To understand how they caught them, we go back to March 14th, 2024. March 14th, 2024, 2:33 p.m. A compliance officer at J.P. Morgan Chase's Houston branch flagged an unusual transaction. A wire transfer for $2.8 million originated from Apex Trading Solutions, LLC, a Delaware-registered entity claiming to import textiles from Somalia. The payment destination, Dahabshil Bank, Mogadishu. The compliance officer, Sandra Chen, 41, had processed thousands of international wires. This one felt wrong. She pulled the company's transaction history. Apex Trading Solutions had moved $47 million 8 months. Every payment labeled import costs or supplier invoices. Chen cross-referenced customs databases, 0 shipments, no bills of lading, no import duty payments. The company claimed to move tons of textiles, but had never cleared a single container through U.S. Customs. Chen filed a suspicious activity report. It landed on the desk of IRS Criminal Investigations Special Agent Marcus Reeves within 36 hours. Reeves had spent 11 years tracking financial crimes. He recognized the pattern immediately: layering. Money entering the U.S. financial system, passing through multiple accounts, exiting offshore, classic laundering architecture. Reeves pulled incorporation documents. Apex Trading Solutions listed its principal as Hassan Jibril Osman, 52, a Somali diplomat with full immunity under the Vienna Convention. Osman claimed to be a trade liaison facilitating economic development between Somalia and the United States. His LinkedIn profile showed photos at United Nations events. His Twitter account promoted refugee assistance programs. The financial records told a different story. Osman controlled 14 shell companies registered across Delaware, Nevada, and Wyoming. Combined, they had moved $391 million in 22 months.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, they are getting down to it. They are getting down to it. And we need to have that money run back here to America, right? Because we have been fleeced with these criminals on the left. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I tell you, You know, let me read a few of these comments, though. Let me see here. Stay away from the trees, yo. Man, you stay away from the trees, yo. I got that thing, though. You know, I'm good with them tools. You stay away from those trees. And Jack, you know, he went in on him. Yeah, bandsaw sharpening says, it's sad when Jasmine Crockett makes Pam Body look like an ass. Look at Jasmine Crockett, Hood Rat Crockett. You got to say her name right. Jasmine Hood Rat Crockett, right? She makes her whole district look bad with her low IQ ass self, you know, putting on the act, sound ghetto, you know, and she was already raised in an upper middle class home. She ain't even from the hood, you know what I'm saying? She don't know nothing about that life, you know? So look at it what it is, though. And that's all you got to say. F that. We're talking about this crime. We're talking about how America got fleeced. That's what we're going to be talking about. And bandsaw sharpening says, talk. How many blah blah have you all clawed back? Here it is. They're talking about it, right? And they're showing where the money is. That's what we try to get down to, bandsaw. Are you for America or are you for the enemy? That's what I like to know. We only deal with the people for America here, the red, white, and blue. I'm not looking to hear talk to nobody that's treasonous, somebody that's anti-America. You see what happened to those Olympians? Thank you for the like. I appreciate it. You see what happened to those Olympians? You talk trash about America. You kicked them. They did right. Kick their ass off the team. Get them out of here, you know, because we don't need that. It's going to be all red, white, and blue. I can't wait till the 4th of July. I'm going to do something special. Boy, a 250 anniversary year, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you get all worked up. Boy, that red, white, and blue, hot apple pie, it just sounds right, right? We talking about hot dogs, right? Boy, I tell you, man. But yeah, let me just talk about this real quick. So Houston River Oaks, right? The federal agents from the FBI, ICE, the IRS, right? We're talking about the DEA, right? Execute operations, right? Iron Wire, right? That's what it's called. Boy, I love their names. Operation Iron Wire, right? Targeting a 14 million estates, right? Owned by the Somali diplomats, Hassan Jabril Osman, right? Which has a single suspicion of 2.8 million wire transfer undercover for a 6-year fraud empire, right? That moved 7.3 billion, right? Through shell corporations or companies throughout Delaware, Nevada, Wyoming, right? Investigators, right, exposed a multi-layer laundering network tied to unemployment, right? Fraud, stolen identities, right? Offshore transfer, right? Spanning Somalia, Kenya, Turkey, right? To say the least, to say the few, right? Look at it what it is. The UAE raids across 19 locations, revealing commandment centers, right? Encrypted devices, fraud activities, right? Files and millions in cash, right? Prosecutors detained how many diplomatic immunity shields, right? This is what's been going on, ladies and gentlemen, behind the scenes. I love it when Kash Patel comes up here and say what has been going on. We may not hear from him a lot, but when I do hear from him, he always has something important to say. This is what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. We have the biggest corruption under the Democratic Party in the history of America. This is the reason that Trump we already know, and his administration, the RICO laws, ladies and gentlemen, and we know what that is, right? They are all being investigated, which I'm happy, right? Hopefully, we'll start seeing arrest. I'm still trying to be patient. But all this evidence, and I know what Trump is really trying to do, right? This is my opinion. He is educating the American people, exposing everything, showing the diplomatic immunity of these people that come in this country and how they've been fleecing America, stealing our money. This is the reason why a lot of us are broke. They've been taking the wealth out of America, and they've been enriching themselves. and aligning themselves with the enemies of our country. This is a fact, right? And it happened with Clinton, Obama's, and so forth. This is what it is, right? This is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Look at, you already know, Tulsi Gabbard, right? Look at what she's been uncovering. Just on Obama, right? With this Russia bullshit, right? Look at him. Look at them. Boy, they scattering. They panicked out, right? Look at this stuff, man. So we are not gonna deviate from. I'm gonna keep my eyes on what's going on here. If there's any other breaks in these stories or whatever. But right now, Kash Patel is telling us what's going on behind the scenes. And they've been watching them, he said, for 6 years. They've been monitoring, watching all the money transactions going in and out. They could have stopped them right then and there. But how do Trump is not going after these low-level diplomats. He wants the big fish. And I agree. We got to go after the big fish. In order for you to kill a snake, you got to cut it off at the head. You just can't just deal with the tail because he's going to grow back another one. And that's what's been happening. We need to have those heads, bam, let the blade drop. That's what we're looking for, right? And I'm talking figuratively, right? But that's what has to happen, right? Because that's the only way we're going to kill this stuff, right? We got to kill it at the head, right? But I'm saying this, though, man. The fraud is the biggest thing, That's the big thing, right? When that comes down, and Trump got to study educating people, exposing the criminal network coming from these progressives, these low-down, dirty ass progressives, right? This is why the RICO laws are in place, They already investigating these people. They've been on them. How does Jasmine Hood-Rat Crockett make $9 million, right? How does AOC, right? How does these people enrich Maxine Wicked West Waters, right? How does these people make all this money? Even Ilhan Omar, how does she becoming this? And she gets $30 million. How does that happen? We know why. Because what they've been doing is criminal. This is all what it is. We ain't got to wait and see. It is what it is. They're not smart people. Are they smart in business? No. Most of them on the left don't know nothing about the business. All they know how to do is get the people, right, on their side, being special victims, right, and to throw a little money at it. Give them trinkets and trash to say that they are the ones. They're being victimized by billionaires. They used to say millionaires. Do you know that most of your politicians on the left are millionaires? Millionaires. Most of them, more of them on the left are millionaires. Way more than they are Republicans. Your millionaires are a majority of them. And I love the fact, because we have to go look at all their finances. Where did Elizabeth Warren, where are they getting this money? Chuck Schumer, where are they getting this money? Bernie ain't never had a job forever. Where are you getting this money? This is the question, right? This is the question that not only that the Trump administration has been looking at, you know what I'm saying? Scott Bassett and these guys, they're looking at it, following the money. Follow the money. And that's exactly what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get down to it, though. But notice my detractors don't have an answer for that one, do they? You know what I'm saying? They don't have an answer for it. They still don't, right? So as this study unfolds, though, I'm surely going to see a lot of arrest. And that's what we're all looking for. But right now, people are still being educated. You study everything that you guys are seeing from the Epstein thing, right? That study unfolding, Russia thing is study unfolding, right? And then you got the criminal syndicate network, that study being, let's say, exposed as well with all this money laundering, right? Now it's tied to who? Cartel. It's tied to these other jihadists and other organizations in these other countries throughout the world that hates America. They've been funding them here. We're seeing this more. It's like a big old movie being played now. Now you are able to look at it more closely. You see what's going on. Aha, that's what it is. Pizzagate, Russiagate, all this stuff is tied into each other, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Epstein files, Diddy, all of it is tied in together, right? This is what it is. This is how you control your elite leaders, right? We're talking about people of monarchy. We're talking about people that are, let's say, prime ministers and presidents, right? This is how they're controlled. This is why they were told to go to Epstein, Little St. John Island over there, right? Now, I'm not saying everybody that went on that island may have had something to do with it, but it is looking very suspicious, right? It's looking like a duck. It's sounding like a duck. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to call it a duck. You know what I'm saying? So they go over there to this island, and some of them that may already have a weakness towards children, and you know it's nothing but a Disneyland for pedos. Let's call it for what it really is, right? Get them in a compromising position, right? Now you got to play ball. This is how our judges are being controlled, right? This is how Hollywood elites are controlled, right? Pretty much everybody have some sort of dirt on them. And this is how you control people. We all seeing this pan out. Now, I've been a conspiracy thing for over 25 years. And now that this stuff is jumping off of the table now, this isn't conspiracy no more, ladies and gentlemen. This is being played out in real life. This is what it is, right? All this other stuff, but let us not derail from what is really going on. I appreciate the likes. Thank you, guys. Let's not, let's say, derail from what's really going on. We're talking about fleecing America, robbing us taxpayers, right? While we over here can't go out to a restaurant of our choice, right? We over here got to work 2 or 3 jobs, right? Children can't go out here and even looking for a decent job, let alone, right, to have the lifestyle or whatever and so forth, and the quality of life that they were promised. We were all promised a quality of life. And these old criminal ass, low down, no good, these are the same people that was involved in the cheating system in our voting process, right? These are the same group. I love it when you talk about Epstein, Little St. John, right? They're all tied in with each other, ladies and gentlemen. And criminals, what? Criminals protect criminals. This is a huge web of the syndicate. That's what this is. That's what they're doing, right? This is what's going on. So the money, follow the money. This is what it's about. As an Americans, we all should be in solidarity, right? Talking about we should be all in solidarity, right? And I'm talking about us together, lock sync with each other, right? Backing this stuff up, backing the president up, right? Backing the people up that's going after these criminals. That's what we should be in lockstep about. That's what it's really about. This ain't got ish to do with anything else. We're talking about the real pedo perpetrators as well as the money laundering and the cheating that they've been doing, right? We know who the group is responsible for this, right? And that's what we're dealing with. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you have to wake up my hour and try to talk to my producer. He said I got to keep it about an hour. So I got 58 minutes left before I shut it down, you know. Hopefully, yeah, this is actually another live stream banger. You know, others can catch up for what I had to say earlier and things. I appreciate you guys coming in and listening to your boy, Some Random Guy Speaks. Once again, I'm your host, Tony Love. I just went straight into it today. You know, so therefore, because I know my introductions be a little too long too. So I got to cut those down and things for time. But you guys are watching my shorts, you know. Check my shorts out, man, because there's a lot of information on those shorts. And some of them has really been taken off, too, with the viewers, you know. Really been taken off, you know. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know why. You always want to know why something really quit the FBI, though, you know. You know, you got to ask him that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he quit, but that's just a rumor that's been going around. He's still, to my knowledge, Don, you know, he's still been around though, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Bandsaw, I mean, shit. I mean, that stuff coming from the left. Because I noticed with the left, and we all notice this, it's called spin news. even though Dan is not working and not operating as a head over the ICE and everything, basically it's good cop, bad cop. You know what I'm saying? But right now, look at what's going on now. The question should be, why are we talking about him when we have the other guy? We got Tom Homan, right? It ain't like nobody is in charge. Tom Homan is running the whole thing, and he gets results done. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I think this was done deliberate. But either way, it played the left. The left still got played. Trump didn't lose. The left did. Because now everybody is complying now, right? Cooperating now, right? That's the main thing, right? Who cares where Don is right now? I wish him well, but that's not it should be a question. It don't mean anything. Don, we have a man right now. His name is Tom Homan. He's taking over that spot. He's running it now. You know what I'm saying? Who cares? He's the head man now. You got to answer to him. So other than that, though, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you guys for being part of something great once again. This is Some Random Guy Speaks. Once again, I'm your host, Tony Love, with a lot of love. No Diddy, and I appreciate you guys and things like that. Let me read a few of these comments, and I'm out. Bandsaw Sharpeny says, the guy's under Kash, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about Tom Homan. That's the dude. He's getting itch done, right? Why you still on that? I get it. I know why you're doing it, but it doesn't make any sense. Tom Homan is the man. Patrick Sullivan says, ICE keep up the good work. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to see. Look at what Patrick had to say. Patrick Sullivan, right? ICE keep up the good work, right? Americans support you. And we do. The majority of us do. We support ICE. The criminals and other people don't. But yes, sir. Yep, I actually put that up there for you. You deserve it. And I said I'm going to go ahead and put that up there, Yeah, so that's basically what it is, though. We support ICE. It's a beautiful thing, though. I think that's mainly, I think we covered that. I didn't want to play everything with Kash Patel, but you guys can pull that up if you haven't listened to that already. But yeah, Kash Patel is just letting everybody know what it really is. This is what's going on. This is a whole web operation that was going underneath our noses. They never thought that Doge would find, right, the USAID. They found and, uncovered a lot of things that they were doing on the progressive left. And now they're over here scrambling. They're about to lose these voter rolls. They won't be able to cheat anymore. And we know they're going to probably more than likely going to try to push some type of insurgency, which they already have, right? The seditious six and all the rest of them, right? They've been pushing insurgencies, right? Because they can't win. They lost the people. They don't have the people's ear anymore, right? So like a trap rat, they're going to get desperate. And this is where a lot of them making mistakes right now, ladies and gentlemen. But once again, I thank you guys for being part of something great. Once again, I am Tony Love with Some Random Guy Speaks. So I appreciate you guys showing up in the chat today. I know it's a little light because everybody's out there doing the Valentine's Day thing, though, too. So if you got a sweetie, once again, treat her good, treat her nice, treat her right. And ladies, too, treat your man right, and things like that. This is what day. You don't need to be reminded on one particular day. Every day is a nice day. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, other than that, ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. So I'm going to read this last one. Ilhan did that, not Kash Patel. Who cares? Why you still on that, man? You trying to get an aha moment? Congratulations to you, Bandsaw. Who cares? How's that? That don't mean nothing. Who cares? We want to see results. That's what the American people are looking for, man. Oh, yeah, Ilhan did that. You know what I'm saying? Ilhan did that. Nobody's taking anything. They all on the same team. Why does it make any difference, right? As long as we getting it done. I don't care who's doing it. Just get it done, right? That's what the American people want to hear. So other than that, I'm out, man, Who cares about all that other stuff? Get this shit done. We want to see arrest, right? That's what we're looking for. That's what we want, right? We want this money to be returned back to the American people. Don't you, ladies and gentlemen? Shit. Damn. We want that money back. Run that money back, yo. That's what you do. Can I get one more like? That way I got 10. One more. Just one more like. Yeah, one more. Yeah, I got 9 likes so far. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. One more like, and I'm out. I'm actually got to get going anyway. Boy, this is a big date night tonight, boy. I'm going to be out here picking up, maybe making that money. I'm trying to hold on to my money, man. I can't afford to be out here dating. Yeah. Bandsaw, why are you here? That's what I like to know. Why are you here, sir? That's what I really want to know. Why are you here? Can't you see we're winning in America? Why are you here? Shit, you should be under investigation, right? You don't want America to win. You should be watched, right? You're already being surveillance anyway. You are the one. You are the anti-hater of America. We want America to win. Don't you live? You probably don't even live in America. That's what I'm saying. I'm just assuming, you know? No, I did not. I did not, Cornfed. I did not listen to Bryson Gray, man. I've been so busy, though, man. Should I have? I know you probably mentioned it before, though, Cornfed, you know. That's a corn-fed man right there, boy. Corn-fed, you know. That's what's up. No, I got to get on out of here, man. I'm over here an hour already. But I welcome you two in, man. I mean, you know. What's up, bro? Are you? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. It's been a while since I've seen you, man. I'm going to post that up in there. It's been a while since I've seen you, man. I've been over here in things, talking about some things and so forth. Talking about this corruption, ICE. We listened to a little bit of Kash Patel. I can't play the whole thing. But I'm still here, man. I'm still around. I get my fair share of pushback from the haters and the trolls and stuff. Nothing that I can't handle, you know. But, yeah, man, it's good to see you, man. Back on. Cornfed, ladies and gentlemen. That's Cornfed. You're good when you get time, man. I thank you, man. I'm trying to get to dedicate more time, though, you know. I really am. So much going on in my personal life. Because, like I said, though, you know, our wealth been taken. Look at it. We got to work 2 or 3 jobs. You know, I work 12-hour shifts. Just doing the Uber thing, man. 12-hour shifts out here, man. Shoot, you know, and some, man. That's what we got to do. I got to take on, like, I have to do it like I'm doing 2 jobs. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining what I do, but, you know, yeah, he said, F the haters. I know, right? Yeah, we ain't worried about the haters, Cornfed, you know. They just come in here trying to be a bothersome, you know, but like I said, you know, for the most part of it, you know, it's all good. It's all good. Yep. So other than that, though, guys, I got to shut it down. Cornfed, man, I want to have you, man, I'm going to have to announce when I'm going to be going on. I'm going to try to push for it tomorrow and go live again because I do love doing lives, though, for the most part of it, talking about things that matter. But right now, man, this money corruption, man, this is what on every American, it should be. Get it, bro. Be safe out there. You do the same. Be safe out there with your sweetie or whatever like that. You know, I always keep that American Express just in case of an emergency. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know, you know. Oh, man. Other than that, though, guys, I thank you for being a part of something great. Once again, I am your host, Tony Love, No Diddy, and welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am out. And I want to give a shout out to Cornfed, you know, and I want to give a shout out to Omega. I want to give a shout out to Joe Mama, you know. Yeah, bro, I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow too, you know. And also Sherry Lady, you know. That's Sherry. Sherry loves that. Yeah, man, Sherry, I miss you. Sherry reached out to me. She's one of my old followers. Still loyal to me. Thank you, though, Sherry. I appreciate it. Sherry Lady. Sherry lady. Yeah, I get a lot of farmers, man. Man, let me get on out of here, man. All right, guys, I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all be all safe, you know, and you too, Bandsaw, you be safe and things like that. And what's that, Sassy Mo? Yeah, you stay away from those trees, yo. What you telling me, you stay away from those trees, too. Yep. Jackhammer, you know. I put the hammer down on Jack Hammer, you know. I got a friend of mine named Jack Hammer, though. She's a pool player. She's actually a very good pool shark, you know, and that's her name. How you going to take her name? Yep. Shout out to Jack Hammer, good friend of mine. All right, guys. I'll see y'all next time tomorrow. Peace. And chicken grease. I am out.